Just hand it over to Kathy and Spiros. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm just going to share my screen and talk you through what we do at Monash Fine Arts, and Spiros is going to share this talk with me. I'm going to start and then Spiros will jump in halfway towards the end and finish at the end. So, and then we'll open for questions obviously. So I'm sharing my screen. Can you all see? Okay, can you see? Yes, you can. I can see. Thank you. Okay, so what is it like to, okay, so now it's not letting me, okay. That's good. Okay, so what is it like to be at Monash? So this is the Fine Arts Courtyard, where we usually have the end of year show and give prizes. And I'm going to just go through some of the alumni that have completed the course with us, many of whom are still with us because they've gone on to postgraduate study, which is really fantastic because we are very strong-minded about being a community. And one of our most recent and successful alumni who, as I said, she's still with us, she's doing an MFA now, is Ater Cummins, who did this amazing project in her honours year using chisels to make this installation. And her work engages with mental health issues, and she won a $50,000 prize, which everyone that is in third year or honours is able to participate in. It's the Hatch Graduate Exhibition in Perth. And obviously, you know, there's just one person that wins, but it's an incredible opportunity, and it's a direct industry engagement straight after art school if you're selected for this prize. And it comes about from exhibiting in the end of your show, the selection process. So this is her work at Monash. And this is Alex Martinez Row, one of our most well-known alumni who went on. She makes a lot of films looking at feminist issues and does a lot of interview participatory projects as well through film. One of the things that we are very excited about doing is we work across mediums. None of our studios are separated into any one medium. We encourage everyone to develop their own visual language, and we're very interested in, you know, how you can combine ideas and mediums together. And we're very focused on how you can work through your ideas, especially at a time like now, when we have been in isolation and are in isolation, and a lot of artists or people that want to be creative have an enormous amount of things that they want to be talking about. And as a creative person, we really are engaged in what your ideas are, and all the people that teach at Monash are specialists in their field. So Alex came out of undergraduate and also did our MFA with us. Last year, Erica Chung graduated from the BFA program, and this work is about rights and rights and participation. And Sophie Tucker, who was particularly interested in sculpture and also teaches with us now, has done a whole series of incredibly beautiful objects, one of which was shown in the feminist exhibition at the Australian Centre of Contemporary Art a few years ago. It was actually the first work that you saw when you walked in. Sara Wittmeyer is BFA honours and double degree graduate, and she's now doing the MFA program with us. This is an exhibition that she did at BUS, so there's a lot of artist-run initiatives that a lot of practitioners start showing with quite soon after graduating. She's done a whole series of drawings, prints, paintings. Paul Yor is also one of our most well-known graduates. He has done a whole series of textile works and has shown around the world. Bryony Galligan is also a graduate who did a project at the National Gallery of Victoria. And Louise Bouchard is one of our most recent BFA double degree graduates, and this is an incredible, she won all the print prizes that we had, but this is an incredible installation, and I was, you know, so excited to see the end of her journey with us, because I taught her in first year, and then I saw this work and I thought this was an amazing journey, because she wasn't working like this at the beginning. So it is incredible how much you learn and how much your focus can change once you also have technical skills. So a lot of people ask me what are the careers that you can go into in terms of finishing an fine art degree with us. And some of our alumni I'm going to give you as examples of different areas that you or one could go into. And I have to say that it's not always clear what you want to be doing when you begin. I know that most people come into the course with a hunger to make work, to explore their ideas, to be amongst creative people, to study art history, to be with you know, art history and theory people, and to also, we've also got a course in curating. So we are a unique course in that the double degree, single degree, and curating are all together, which make up all parts of the industry. So Jessica Brisanti, who I taught many, many years ago, is now living in New York as a consultant at Vic Arts Consultancy. Siobhan Sloper, who also studied fine arts or double degree with us, is now one of, works at Gertrude Contemporary Art Space, which is one of the most well-known contemporary art spaces in Melbourne. Mehedi and Andrew and Genevieve have started a art space in Dandenong. Kate Ten Buren is a curator at the Koori Heritage Trust in Melbourne. I'm just going through this. Laura Castagini is a program coordinator in the UK. So there's a lot of outcomes that can happen. We have Emily Cormack, who curated the 2018 Tarawara Biennial. We have Victoria Lynn, who just finished a course with us, who's the director of the Tarawara Museum of Art. So there's a lot of areas, not just being a creative practitioner, it's working within a broad field of the arts, and the arts have grown an enormous amount. There are so many more public and private spaces than there used to be, and I know I'm talking about this at a time where things have shut down, but as things have shut down, the online translation of exhibitions has become an incredible focus. So there's so many areas that one can be working within fine arts as a designer, technician, publicist, art advisor, game developer, collection manager, conservator, photographer. The skills that you learn while you're in our course can set you up for life, whether you decide to stay focused on a creative career or choose to go in another direction. But most people end up working within a broad field within the arts industry, which is an incredibly exciting and liberating industry if you have a desire to talk about your ideas and also want to have a voice. So the other, as I mentioned, we have art history and curating. So museum director, gallery manager, museum professional, festival director, event manager, academic, teacher, and of course, most obviously, an artist, wanting to be an artist. So Okay, so my career has taken me to places that I never expected to go to at all, places or work people I never expected to work with. I recently was commissioned by Kanye West to do an enormous walk through forest, indoor forest for him and his family, and I went to LA and made the work and he helped me to produce it, which was an incredible experience watching someone that works across many creative industries. I learned so much from this experience. Spiros Panigirakis, who is Deputy Head of Fine Art, works across many different areas. He's a writer. He does a lot of installation work. Last year, or a few years ago, he was in this incredible project, 6 Moments in Kingston, and I know he can speak better about it than I can, but it was a public bus tour where each artist was asked to respond to a site that the bus tour took you on. And I have to say it's one of the best experiences I've been on, and it was very exciting to go on. Helen Johnson is an incredible painter who teaches with us, has had sold out shows in the UK recently, and yeah, we love working with Helen. Emily Floyd is, you may know her work from The Freeway, well-known work that you may have already seen or seen her public art elsewhere. And Peter Clancy, who has an Indigenous background, who did a solo exhibition at the Koori Heritage Trust last year. And Brooke Andrew, who is the curator of the current Sydney Biennial, Murin, which I've just seen is reopening beginning of July again. And all of their focus and function has been online recently. So I would encourage you to either go and see the show or look back online to see what's going on. Memo Review is edited by Rex Butler, who works with us in Art History and Theory. I'm just using examples of the staff because everyone is passionate about their own interests and everyone understands what it's like to be in art school. And we all are excited to be part of everyone's journey of learning and discovering what is best for them and what is best for you and what you want to be exploring in your visual language and practice. So I'm just going to hand over to Spiros, who's going to talk more about our courses.
Thanks, Kathy. So I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts of the courses that are on offer. Really, we're one department, one course, the Bachelor of Fine Art, and really within that course, within that department, there are 2 specialisations. The first specialisation is in fine art, and the second specialisation is in the Bachelor of Art History and Curating. Both of these specialisations are offered as double degrees. So you can choose to do both the fine art degree as a single degree or as a double degree with arts, business, information technology, education, and media communication. And in art history and curating, the same applies. You can do that as a single degree or as a double degree. Now, when you're doing the double degree, the length of the courses are 4 years, and for a single degree, it's 3 years. Now, what's the similarities between the single degrees and the double degrees is that all the core curriculum, all the core units or lessons are the same. And it's really within the elective space that the double degree student does their other program. Maybe we can go to the next slide, Kathy. Oh no. Maybe yes. And one of the features of the program for both the Bachelor of Fine Art and the Bachelor of Art History and Curating, both within the single and the double degree, is the Prato program. Now, the Prato program is a unit that is taken in Prato in Italy, and that usually happens within the second year of the program. And that's really one of the highlights of both degrees. Now, through the 3-year program for both the fine art and the art history, it culminates in the graduate exhibition. And the graduate exhibition happens at the end of the 3rd year, and it's really a time to celebrate all the achievements that, across art history and fine art. The curatorial students are also exhibiting their projects. Now, just a little bit about the art history and curating course it's one of the most unique curatorial or curating programs and art history programs in Australia. That's because that the art history is taken alongside practice-based units in curating, and that's, as I was saying, a unique feature of this program. The other feature of the art history and curating program at the end of 2nd year and towards 3rd year is that all the curatorial students complete an internship unit, and that's a real opportunity for students to say, take an internship for around about 6 to 8 weeks within an institution, within an art gallery, and really to gain really great experience. Within the fine art program, the internship is also an elective, and you could also choose to do an internship within fine art, within the fine art practice-based units. Now, there's lots of different options or kind of career trajectories within the fine art program between fine art single degree and the fine art double degree. In terms of the double degree, really it expands the kind of scope of creative practices, and it really, it just depends on which partner degree you choose. So, for example, if it's fine art and education, that's really geared towards becoming a high school or a primary school teacher. With media communication, that really is targeting something like arts journalism. With arts, as in the humanities, the general humanities, and social sciences, that's a really a kind of an opportunity to explore philosophy, sociology, history, and languages alongside fine art. And really, if we're thinking about contemporary practices or contemporary art practices, there's a real emphasis on engagement of ideas and theories, and that really feeds into art practice. And of course, a double degree with business might expand the scope and kind of be thinking about advertising and marketing in relationship to creative practices. Should we move on to the next slide, Kathy? Maybe 2 slides on. Okay, and so as Kathy was saying at the beginning, really the fine art experience at Monash isn't really focused on one specific medium, but really what we see in the studio environment or the classroom environment is that we really see the opportunity for a painter to learn alongside a person who's drawing, who's learning alongside a person who's making jewellery or glass, or sculpture or performance or video. And so really we think that this is the fertile ground for any kind of studio production. And in that case, our facilities really match those aspirations. So within the fine art studio, our students have access to really amazing facilities in sculpture, in photography dark rooms, in the printmaking studio, in digital fabrication, large format printing, digital printing, etc. So, and a photographic studio for film editing and green screen facilities. So here's some images. This is from the printmaking area, and you'll have an opportunity in first year to gain experience in all of these areas, in sculpture, in printmaking. In terms of sculpture, you'll have access to casting facilities in glass blowing, and glass sculpture. In painting, there's a whole suite of electives in the painting area, everything from abstract painting to more representational painting. Within the sculpture studios and facilities, there's scope to bronze cast and to weld and to construct things out of timber. So it's really it's not a one-size-fits-all art education or kind of engagement with materials. Really thinking about making in the traditional sense. So there's a whole lot of drawing classes in first year, and in you've got access to all these drawing electives, but also a kind of more expansive idea of drawing as well, which becomes more experimental. And what's the? Oh, this is continuing on with some of the facilities in sculpture, in casting, and right next door is jewelry and welding. As I was saying earlier, the 3 years culminates in the graduate exhibition. This is a real touchstone moment in the degree where graduates, or hopefully yourselves, will be able to almost make contacts with different types, with different industry members, curators, other artists, artists in artist-run initiatives, which are small independent galleries run by artists on a kind of grassroots level. The graduate exhibition, or MARTA now as it's called, is usually at the end of the year, and it's a great kind of networking space for our graduates. Now, this is the part that I'm sure a lot of you are here to find out about. How do you get into this course? We want you to submit a digital folio, and the submission requires two parts. So the first part is the digital folio of 8 to 10 pieces of original artwork. Now, we really think that this is a great preparation for the professional artwork. Whenever Kathy or myself apply for an exhibition or funding application, we submit a digital folio of original artworks. And so we're really preparing you for the similar type of professional trajectory. So there's documentation of 8 works. Now, they don't 8 to 10 works. It doesn't have to be final works. We really do want to see drawings, parts of your visual journal, and idea development. So it's really it's a collection of parts. It doesn't have to focus on final resolved artworks. Now, what you also need to accompany the digital folio with is a 300-word written statement. It's nothing that you need to particularly study with. We really want you to tell us a bit about yourself. Why do you want to come to Monash? Why do you want to come to Monash's fine art department? And what was the last exhibition that inspired you? Tell us a bit about the art that you're inspired by, that you're into, that you saw in the year 2020. all the details about this submission will be online. So all the detail of this submission and actually quite a bit of help. So it's not just going to be this these instructions here. So there'll be a lot of support and help that you can get with this submission will be online as well. Now, with art history and curating, you don't need, you just need your Ater. The Ater for this year was 70 for art history and curating. Now this Ater shifts from year to year, so it has been higher in the past. For fine art, there's obviously, as I was just saying, there's the digital folio submission with the written task, as well as a base Ater of 70. So that stays the same regardless of the year. But what we really want to see is the digital folio and the written submission that accompanies the Ater when, yes. Oh, Kathy, you're on mute, but maybe you want to unmute at this point. But
that's the end.
Oh, great.
For now.
Thank you both so much. That was fantastic. It was good little insight into studying fine art and art history and curating at Monash. So I think we can throw it open to the audience now if people want to start typing in some questions for us. So,
hi, Scott. Abigail has a question for us.
Just about to say that one. Cool. Thanks, Monica.
So Abigail's asking Kathy and Spiros, do you still need to provide a folio for art history and curating?
No, it's just the Ater for art history and curating. Yeah. The folio, the digital folio and the written task is only for fine art, and for the fine art, regardless of whether it's a single degree or a double degree. But art history and curating, no folio.
Hi, sorry, I'm a mum of a year 11 student. I just had a question, I think it was to Spiros. You mentioned that there was this amazing ability to be able to have access to every type of fine art, for example, the welding to the jewelry. Is there a point, and that was during the first year, is there a point where my daughter will have to choose one particular sort of course, or can she access all of them the whole time she's there?
Well, great question. In the first year, you really get an experience of all the studio areas, so that you have, an expanded toolbox of, say, tools and processes that you can engage with. And then you can kind of continue with that through to second year and third year. You always have access to those studio facilities and processes. There's no point where in fine art, in the practice-based courses in the studio, you need to commit to one area. It's really, we work across disciplines, across media.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so she doesn't have to say, I want just jewelry. She can continue that universal approach through the whole time.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And also that is really what is so exciting about our course, is that it allows for experimentation across any areas, and the ability for any student to combine different mediums and ideas together. And it's liberating, it's fantastic. And as Spiros has mentioned before in the studios, everyone is learning from each other, seeing what other people are doing, alongside each other. So yeah, it's very stimulating.
Thank you for clarifying that. It does look extraordinary that they all have access to different things that would normally not be sitting next to. So thank you for confirming that.
So Kathy, we do have a few questions that I've been grabbing in the chat.
Yeah.
Elon has a question that we have provided an answer for him, but can he do a fine art degree attached with an education degree?
Yes, and yes, Spiros can talk more to this, but yes, it's the double degree. So Yeah.
So the double degree with education is always a popular double degree option. It's over, as you know, kind of repeat, but it's a 4-year program. You do the first 3 years mainly, you know, in fine art, and then the last year is in education. That's the general pattern for most of the double degrees. You spend the first 3 years with us mostly, and then in the 4th year you spend it in the partner degree, so in education, in business, in arts. In education, you're also doing a lot of your teaching rounds from 1st year right through to 3rd year. So you're doing that at the same time. But the details of the education program, you probably need to touch base during open day, or you know, an equivalent information session with education to kind of get the details for that program. But I know that you're doing teaching rounds throughout your fine art degree at the same time. Yeah.
And I should add, it's a very popular degree, taking those two things together. So there's a nice cohort of students who are interested in combining those two areas.
Yeah. And one of the artists that Kathy showed, Louisa Bouger, who was printmaking, that's a fantastic example of, she's a great artist, but also going to become a great teacher. You know, that, yeah.
So we have another more complex question from Leanne Carr. So she's asking, is there an opportunity for art therapy with a double degree in humanities subjects, or within a single degree with electives? And I don't think we actually can answer that question for you, because it is quite specific.
Okay, can I
Yes,
just say that it is a great question, and Spiros could probably answer more than I can about the specifics, but I just want to say that Helen Johnson, who teaches painting with us, is actually doing a degree in art therapy. So we actually have staff that can also help facilitate or guide around that focus. But Spiros, do you want to be more specific about what the possibility of combining that is?
I mean, my advice on that point is I would do fine art with a double degree with, say, arts, and within arts you can specialize in psychology units. Now, that wouldn't be directly linked to art therapy, but as Kathy was saying, there's a whole lot of postgraduate opportunities, not only at Monash, but you know, at other, you know, at a lot of universities where really doing a undergraduate program within fine art is a stepping stone to that postgraduate education later on. So thinking about the art therapy component as an extension, or as a thinking about it in the postgraduate realm, but for the undergraduate space, doing something like fine art with arts and specialising in psychology would be my recommendation, or what we could offer.
And also, you know, speaking to Helen would be very helpful as well, because she's got this incredible career as a fantastic painter, and then she decided to go and study this as well. So she could be of assistance to you.
So we have another question from Michael.
Yeah.
Michael's asking a question about studying screen subjects as part of his degree. Could he do some screen subject? Of course.
I'll start and then I'll let Spiros finish. We have some electives that are specifically looking at different types of film as well as video. So they're separate units. We have a lot of artists that work in video and photography that take the video elective. And we also have a filmmaker, Michael Vale, very well-known filmmaker, who teaches a film elective. So yes, the answer is yes, but Spiros might be able to follow on. Okay,
so just in terms of, there's two ways that you can go about taking screen studies or film units. Now, there's one which all the great options that Kathy just relayed in terms of within the fine art program. We've got opportunities there. But you could also do a double degree with arts, and arts has, a whole lot of like film units and screen studies within the arts program, so that you could do a double degree there. If you wanted to do a single degree in fine art though, there's scope within your elective space to take other units from across the university. So that's the real benefit of the single degree is that within the elective space, you've got scope to really access one of the units and lecturers who are at the cutting edge of their research. Monash University is one of the top 8 universities in Australia, and having access to any one of these units in your elective program is a real kind of benefit of coming to this art school.
And to follow up, Michael asked the question about, can he take electives from art history and curating as part of his fine art degree?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Yes. That's a nice, easy yes.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
We have another question from Steph. Steph's asking, are there any practical components in the art history curating degree?
That's a great question, because in the first year of all our programs, everyone does a foundation drawing unit, and that includes the art history and curating students. So in the one space, design, fine art, and Bachelor of Art History and Curating students are all doing a foundation drawing unit in the first semester of first year. But if an art history and curating student wanted to take some electives in the fine art area, in terms of taking a sculpture elective or a jewellery elective, they've also got access to that suite of electives, just like any other single degree student. There's scope within the program to take electives in the fine art area. And we have a lot of students in say photography units or drawing units. They're coming from science, from information technology, from across the university doing our elective programs.
Yeah. I'm also going to follow on to say that aside from the internships, the Art History and Curating group also do a practical project which ends up being displayed, or parts of it, as part of the end of year, the final year exhibition, Marda Now. So that's also a new component of the course.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That was probably the answer that Steph wanted. In terms of practice. But yes, curatorial practice.
Practice, yes.
Yeah.
and also, again, this is really unique in that you have people studying art history and theory, doing projects alongside artists that are making work, displaying their practice as well. And you've got direct access to artists all around you all the time, as well as the staff, as well as the University Gallery Mama, which is world renowned for its exhibitions, and curator Charlotte Day, who we work very closely with as well, and also her team of curators. So, and at the one of the prizes that is offered when in the end of year show is 2 internships at Mama, worth $5,000 each for 2 chosen students to go and have that experience after they finish. That's aside from the internship that you do as part of the course, and aside from any of the other practice. So it's an incredible opportunity that's happened recently. So.
And also during your study as a curating student and as a fine arts student, a lot of our students exhibit in the student gallery. It's intermission, and intermission is a great opportunity for undergraduate students. That means, first year, second year, third years, to exhibit their work. And a lot of the curatorial students, like the fine arts students, actually, create an exhibition or curate an exhibition within this student space. And every Tuesday, there's a lovely little opening that the community supports, has a drink, has a bit of a nibble, and sees a student exhibition each Tuesday. And so that's where, yeah, someone like yourself could curate a show.
We have another question that is a bit more complex, and I might answer. I'm sorry, I forgot to put my video on earlier, so here I am. We have a question really about the dates for applying this year for the next intake, and also the changes to VCE. Those decisions are still being made at a university level and are still being made in connection with VTAC and with the secondary school and education. They haven't been resolved yet, so you must just keep yourselves informed by keeping up to date via the VTAC website, through your careers teacher in your school, and visiting the Monash website, the Study at Monash pages, where we will keep you up to date with what's happening. We really, as a university, do understand that it's been a very difficult year for many of our Year 12 students. We understand that totally, and that things have been a bit topsy-turvy, and we will be accommodating that and understanding that when the selection process happens. But
I just also want to say something about that, because all of us, whether we're practicing artists, whether we're working with our students, we've all been affected by this time. And I really feel for you if you're in Year 12 that this has happened. But I would also say, if there's anything that you can get from this to turn it into a positive, to use this experience of being in isolation or time or adversity, to make use of that, to make the work that you want to be making. Like, it's an, unprecedented time, and I know it's caused a lot of people a lot of stress, including all of us here, but there are incredible creative opportunities that can come from this that you might not have thought of. So yeah.
So I'm going to we have another question, Kathy and Spiros, and I think it might come from Micheal, and it's trying to understand what an elective is. And I think that basically what Michael's trying to understand, and maybe the other listeners and attendees there are trying to understand elective.
Okay.
Elective is where you will choose what you're interested in studying. Nearly half your degree time is spent in studio, which means you're making and doing art. And then you're going to have a set of theory subjects, which are about, can help you contextualize art and understand art from different dimensions. And then you'll have electives. Now, the electives are where you can choose to do, you can do some painting, some drawing, you can sculpting, glass making. There's a whole range of amazing electives that are offered by the fine art department.
So
you don't have to take them all in fine art. You can also take them from the art, history and curating area, or you can take some from business, or you can take some from anywhere in the university, film and screen. And they will just all add up to your understanding of what it is to be an artist. And you will use those and you will curate those.
I would also say, thank you, Monica, that I would also say that you would, when you come into first year, you would be given a mentor, a staff member that will be mentoring you, that will, so you will be going through a suite of technical focuses, and a staff will be allocated to you to mentor you, to discuss what you're interested in and what can best complement what you're studying as well. So you will, some of you will want to do different things to what your focus is, and some of you will want to do a more extensive range of things. So if you come in and you decide that you want to paint and you really want to learn more about different types of painting, you could take an elective that was focused on abstraction, or an art history elective that was of a particular focus around painting. Or if you wanted to do more drawing electives, that was also another option. So it's about a broad range of options to complement your focus, or to have a broad range of skill bases. It just depends what your interest is. And everyone will have different interests, but the mentor, the first year mentor, will help you will be in contact with you to help you to decide. Spiros?
Yeah. And so you can, you've got a lot to choose from, and it's just building the type of thing you want to do. And there's enough space for you to take a business or a language as well and still be a great artist and follow your interest. I had one other question from Abigail about Open Day. The university is planning a virtual Open Day, and we hope possibly later in the year there will be some on-campus activity. Our problem is maintaining physical distancing and maintaining everybody's safety. So in the first instance, there will be a virtual Open Day in a few months' time, and information will soon be available about that. As for coming onto the campus, at this stage, we don't know when that will happen for prospective students. So, but maybe later in the year. Are there any other questions?
Good questions. They've been good questions.
Is the application process, is the Ater or our portfolio more valued? So in the application process, Ater, Spiros, sorry, you go.
Oh, sorry, Monica, were you going to?
No, you go.
Well, the Ater, for the fine art single or double degree, now for the single degree, the Ater is fixed at 70, and really that's the first kind of hurdle that you need to kind of meet, is the 70. And then we look at the portfolio. So both are requirements. So it's not an either or. It's actually both. You know, you first need to fulfil the Ater, the 70 Ater, and then also we look at the portfolio. In relationship to the double degree in fine art, well, what I didn't mention is that the Ater is really a determination of the other faculty, and so it's much higher for the double degree with fine art. So you really need to look at the Ater for business, education, arts, and information technology. So that's just a little bit of a, add-on.
So do we have more questions?
Just to finish, to maybe answer one of Michael's, I'm just looking at that, just in terms of the electives, and they will, be evident on your transcript. So all of the courses that you take will be detailed in your transcript. So nothing is actually invisible, and it all kind of makes up the degree. So, yeah.
It's electives are a wonderful way, because you only have to choose them when you're in the course. You don't need to choose them before you join us. So you'll choose in first year, you'll have your sort of bit more set subjects. And so when you go into your second semester and then you go into second year, that's when you can start choosing them. So it's not something you have to think about now. And it's as your own interests become more evident, as you decide that's what I like to more, or I want to do more of this, as you're working with your peers, as you think about yourself, you sort of you can build when you're in the course. So it's not something to worry about so much now, because it's something you can build in the course.
And I always like to think of it as something where with the elective program, you can specialize in one area or you can mix and match. So, both of these things are possible, where you can kind of focus in on one particular area and maybe do, a whole lot of painting electives or drawing electives. Or you can kind of, do a jewelry elective, a screen printing one, a bronze casting elective, and that's like the suite of different types of medias and studio areas. But I think potentially we've run out of questions.
Possibly, but are there a few more? I've got one possibly. I'm just checking if that one other person has got a question, if that's been clarified.
We can't see anyone. We can't see it. We're talking to names.
I know, it feels quite strange.
It is strange.
I do have a question for you. We've got a question. if you have a vision impairment or a disability, is that something to put that they could write in their statement about themselves, or something, or is it something we need to follow up separately?
Of course, this is we will support whatever is your interest. So whoever whatever you present to us, we will follow. Like anything is valid as long as you are engaged and passionate, and we have a lot of support for students with disabilities as well. So yeah.
Do you currently have students with disabilities?
Yes.
Kathy? Yeah.
Yes.
And so we're very supportive of having a wide group of students with all different activities. And so I will follow up with that person as well separately. But yeah, we are very supportive.
We're very supportive and we're very inclusive. And part of being a community is to understand this inclusiveness as well. And so, we welcome whatever your interests are, or if that is part of who you are, of course, it's important.
I mean, following on from that, this is Michael's question. Should our statement be personal or professional? And I think, I'm going to say both. So tell us a bit about yourself. Is actually we a whole lot of art practice is about the exploration of the self, of the diverse self, of different types of communities, and really that kind of plurality, that kind of is something that we embrace in the department. So when we're thinking about that statement, we not only want to find out about the art, the art that you're interested in, the professional sphere, but we also kind of, we want you to also talk about yourself and why you're so passionate about the art, and there's an overlap there.
And you have to remember, we've all come from the place that you're coming from. So we all left most of us have left high school, and we all, I know that for me, my focus was completely on my identity. And at that time, and still now, but in a different form, I really, really wanted to have a voice, and I really wanted to talk about the things that made up who I was at the time. But I had no kind of understanding of those outlets. So the education that you get when you come to us is really to unpack this and to work through all your ideas. We're really interested in what you're interested in, because it's kind of exciting for us to see someone develop their language over a period of time and learn more skills and see where that takes you. It's an incredible journey. So if you have that ambition or the desire or the fire, I really encourage you. And even if you're not sure, I still encourage you, because a double degree gives you both options of different disciplines as well.
So we're coming nearly to the end of our time.
I've got one last question. It may be difficult to be answered, but what is the ratio between theory and practical hands-on workshops in fine arts?
Oh, okay. In the first 2 years of the single degree, you do 1 unit in art history and theory out of 4 every semester. So it's a quarter in the first 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's 4 subjects.
Yes. So you would take 4 subjects in any one semester. One of those would be in art history and theory in the first 2 years. And then if you wanted to extend that in the 3rd year, we really do encourage our fine arts students to do more art history as part of their elective suite in 3rd year. So there's scope to do more.
Do you want to mention Brian's course?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll let you do it.
And really, one of the core art history units throughout Bachelor of Art History and the Fine Art degree is Indigenous Art History and Ways of Knowing unit. That's a compulsory unit for all our students. And we think that's a kind of important kind of recognition of Indigenous values in country and the importance to all cultural practitioners, be it curators, artists, people working in the broader creative community. I mean, we think that it's a really kind of special unit for our students.
We also, the person that teaches that, Brian Martin, is also the director of a lab that we have called Wominjeka Jimbana, so which is the faculty-based lab. So he's the Associate Dean Indigenous that teaches that unit. So that's a very big focus for us as well.
I'd like to add about the theory. I think it's a really important part of studying art, fine art at a university. It is an important part of understanding practice, situating it, contextualizing it, and I think that they're taught really well, and they're great subjects. So. And
also, you have skills in order to talk about your practice as well. Like, I think art history is incredibly important to help practitioners articulate what they're thinking as well. So the two go hand in hand.
Right. So we're nearly reaching our finish time. So I think, is it time? Any more questions coming up in the chat box? Any other questions? So I think Scott has been working behind the scenes on answering questions, and myself. I can't hear Scott.
Oh, I'm here. No, I think you've got them all.
Yeah, we've got them all.
Really good. You've done an amazing job capturing all the, sharing all the information about fine art and art history and curating.
So
I can't wait. I'm ready to apply for them.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So thank you, everyone. So Scott, are you going to do the rounding up, or shall I?
You can do the roundup.
So thank you, everybody, for attending today. We hope you will come to Virtual Open Day and check out for information of when that will happen. And as I said earlier, maybe there might be some on-campus activities. We also have a website with lots of great information. And we also, through that website and through your careers teacher, you can also make some time to speak to some people one-on-one if you need to. We'll be in contact again with a thank you email tomorrow, and if there's any follow-up from that, please reach out. So thank you very much, Kathy and Spiros. It was great to hear so about the fine art and art history curating programs today.
Yay, thank you.
And we hope that, and we also want to thank everybody for attending. I know it's sort of a long session, and it's kind of feels a bit discombobulated really when you're sort of sitting at home and doing it from afar, but thank you very much. And so stay safe and look after yourself, and good luck with all your studies. So thank you.
Bye-bye.